Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our tribe received a sign from our beacons of adventure when little Melody was born in our nests. She's actually the first baby to be born with that albinism trait in many generations. So typically she would be seen as a good omen, because our beacons of adventure just mean that we're progressing in the right direction. They're often the guiding lights to the rest of our creatures, to lead them off to distant ports, or just to get them one step closer to Adam's Island. But we know that we're going to be spending quite a bit more time in the savanna. We still need to unlock the big ears in our mutation menu and that lean body too, because those are going to be so important for us in the jungle biome especially. So maybe Melody's birth is actually a sign of something different. Our tribe would slowly begin to notice a strange scent on the air, because our very first fires are actually brewing off in the distance. It's very far away from our tribe right now, but the scent of ash and smoke would surely put our tribe on edge. This is nothing that they've ever experienced before, so they don't really know what's waiting for them, what's looming off in that tall grass. I feel like Vanta might be the only creature who really knows what the smell means. Maybe that's why he was all out on his own at such a young age. Maybe his entire family was picked off by those raging fires, and the smell of smoke is what's reminding him of those times. I feel like he probably would have been a bit more quiet than most of our other tribe mates. Maybe he just didn't want to relive those memories, but he has grown to trust his family, and he doesn't want to see them meet the same fate. So as young as he is, he'll try his best to explain what the fires meant for his family. Wasp, I feel, would be particularly inclined to believe him, because he probably reminds her quite a bit of the band of bandits that she knew from her previous island. His thieving ways captured her heart immediately, so she plans to watch out for the little guy. They're lucky though, because they're so far away from the fires that I don't think they have too much to worry about. This side of the family, however, they might find themselves right in the thick of things if they don't notice that smoke off in the distance. I feel like Moonstone, as the last of our shaman line, might actually find herself drawn toward it. Maybe her ancestors are trying desperately to get her attention, though she thinks she's just kind of following her nose toward her roots, and apparently toward a more permanent nest as well. We'll have her go ahead and scoot over here though to pick up the root on the next turn, and maybe even to talk to their very secluded leader, Dukkirvan. He's having some troubles of his own. He was always told by his parents that nothing could ever stand in his way, thanks to his strength. But the savanna has really taken a toll on his body. He hasn't been able to use his skills to their full potential, and he feels like he's really failing his tribe. He's not honoring the bluebird feathers because he can't seem to connect with anybody here. He went on his mission just to find a new berry bush for Jasmine, but he's going to be shocked to find out that she has already started a family with Sunspot. Of all the creatures, the one who was supposed to be his eyes in the tall grass. So he is going to feel more than a little bit betrayed by that, I'm sure. And those dark and troubled thoughts would be just the sort of thing to draw Moonstone in his direction. Maybe she would urge him, as we pass the day, now that all of our creatures are too tired to move, she might try to get him to connect to his ancestors, because she spent so much time with Ananame and her family. She knows how important Adam was to them, so she's hoping that she can find a way to connect him with his spirit. But instead, it seems as if Adam's spirit has come to bless this new baby in the nest with lovely stripes. So at least those are sticking around in whatever way they can, even though Dukkirvan hasn't been able to find somebody to start his family with. We still have somebody with those ever-important stripes in the tribe. So Kirkir, unfortunately, is another one of the creatures who is going to have quite a bit of trouble moving around in the savanna. Not only because of his double claws, but also that big body. He'll find that he struggles just as much as his father Dragonfly does. And that's not going to bode well for them with the fires looming in the distance. I think now that the sun has begun to rise, Moonstone would notice the plumes of smoke rising from the grass, and she would realize quite quickly that that is what her ancestors sent her here for. So while Dukkirvan is still trying to clear his pathway for Jasmine, because he still wants to show her this lovely berry bush that he found, she would instead request that he tries to find some help, because we need to move our creatures away from the fires, especially our brand new families. While Valentine might be the one to hear Dukkirvan and Moonstone in the grass, Dragonfly knows that he needs to go help his leader, with whatever energy he has left. But of course he would request that Ananame takes their new children off to a safer place, so we'll have her stay here for now so she can be right next to little Kirkir. You know, I'm not actually sure if we're going to see any bluebirds in the savannah. So far our skies have been very quiet, but you guys have also noticed that the island seems to have taken the form of a bluebird. Like these are its wings maybe, and we have a little beak down here. So even though the bluebirds might not be physically soaring through our skies, they still hold quite a bit of influence over this island. And I think that's probably why Dukkirvan is finding this to be such a struggle. This island is meant for big change. Sunspot might not fully understand what's going on just yet, being so far away, buried in the tall savanna grass. But we'll have him go ahead and breed one more time with Jasmine, before he hopefully goes off to find Dukkirvan too. He's leaving his baby in capable hands, of course, because Dukuta is more than willing to provide for this new family. He used to be so shy, but now he's really come out of his shell. And of course he has a Moonstone to thank for that. But we'll have them start making their way a bit further away from the fires too. Maybe back down to this nursery right by the shore, while our bandits start packing up their things again. They, of course, as always, have different adventures in mind. Though with the smoke rising from the grasses, I do wonder if some of them might start seeing Melody as a bad omen instead of a good one. Maybe in fact she even finds herself compelled to go investigate that area too. Even at such a young age, she can't help but be drawn toward the distant smell of smoke. Her mother wouldn't actually be too concerned to find that her baby isn't following her, because she's used to this kind of lifestyle. They are the roaming nomads after all, so it's only natural that her babies would stray a bit farther away. So it would be all too easy for Melody to potentially sneak off on her own, without her parents noticing at all. The only ones who might see are Bee and Hornet, and maybe Hornet would be the one to start those rumors about her. He sees that spark of interest in her eye as she gazes off at the smoke in the distance, and he thinks that it can't possibly be natural for somebody in this tribe to be drawn towards something so scary. So he is going to be watching her very closely as she sneaks off into the grass, now that she has her second gem to do so. And it seems as if it may have actually cooled down a little bit too. The screen isn't quite so red anymore, and some of our creatures with the big ears have a little bit of their energy back. But it looks like the fires haven't stopped, and in fact they may have spread a little bit more. So this definitely calls for some sort of investigation. Let's bring Moonstone back down to the main portion of the tribe. She could be the one to let Jasmine and Dukuta know exactly what's going on. Of course, she would usher them off in a different direction. It's not safe here, you guys. You have to pack up and leave. We'll bring Dusty down to the nursery with his mother to make sure that everything is safe down here. You know, I am truly surprised that we haven't run into a single Berryina yet. I hate to potentially jinx it, because now I feel like they're going to come storming out of the grass too. But not a single Berryina since we arrived. You would think that the harsh landscape would actually make them a little bit more aggressive toward us, because of course they need food to eat too. But we'll have Valentine go ahead and grab some of the last berries to offer up to his father, as he starts making his way deeper into the grass along with Dukkirvan. It's going to be a tough job, but if they can find any way to stop the fires, then they know it'll be worth it. Poor little Kirkir must be so confused, watching his father leave him behind so soon after he was born. It would be heartbreaking for any child, but especially one so young. He might truly never get the chance to see his father again, if he does end up succumbing to those fires. But as Melody makes her way deeper into the grasses, we'll have Bee continue to pick up what meager berries they do actually have in their supplies. It might be a good idea for them to try to find a bigger berry bush to pick from too. So we'll have her scoot on over in this direction and maybe see if Bear has found any good supplies. Though unfortunately all he has are the cacti to pick from. And that's not going to help you guys out very much. We don't need you whittling away your lifespan in the process. Maybe Hornet will have more luck? His big nose should make it easy for him to sniff out any potential food sources. But it actually seems to be rather bare toward these ports. That's not a particularly good sign. Well, let's have Rhapsody breed again with Wasp just in case. She is actually getting super close to the end of her life anyway, so we'll want her to find a place to settle down soon. Hopefully right next to those swamp ports, because I feel like that would be the best place to see her journey end. For a creature who once thought that she would spend out her entire life in the jungle, she has really come a long way. She's explored swamplands, she's explored savannas. She has had quite a bit on her plate, and she has lots of very unique babies to show for it. But let's go ahead and skip the day again. Keep a very, very close eye on those fires, of course. Oh my goodness. It is raging out here, burning away all of the grass in its path. Oh, you guys have no idea what you're charging into. But Dukkirvan, of course, I mean, he just thinks that this is another challenge that he needs to conquer. Maybe he thinks this is what Adam sent him here for. After speaking with his ancestors overnight, he must have caught the wrong message from Moonstone, and it's only leading him closer and closer to danger. Well, at least Sunspot, while he tries desperately to catch up with his leader, would be able to stumble his way into this big berry bush. The one that Dukkirvan left behind for Jasmine, of course. Though she's not going to be able to make her way up here, with so much danger nearby. She can instruct Dusty to pick the berries, though, to the best of his abilities, while she settles down in one of these permanent nests to finally have her next baby. Hopefully one with the nimble fingers too, so they can pick up where she left off. And Moonstone, of course, will continue to usher this family away as fast as she can, bringing little Kirkir through the grass along with Ananame, keeping everybody safe. They're lucky to have her around since she's so dedicated to her task. She might even find herself drawn closer to these ports too, because this is where so many of our older creatures are currently living. Wasp was just about to pass away, Scarab who has 3 days left on his lifespan. Yeah, let's start bringing her toward the eastern portions of the tribe, with little Dukuta in her shadow. Now that he's found her again, he is very, very reluctant to let her out of his sight. He must have missed her presence, because of course with her around he feels so brave. Meanwhile, I think our little bear might actually find himself quite smitten with our sweet honeybee. So maybe we'll see if they can start a family too. Since Bear is nearing the end of his life, this would be his last chance to have children. Oh, we might even see the Berryina ears on their babies. Maybe not the most useful of traits in the savannah, but it would still be pretty cool to see. I've never actually seen the Berryina ears on any of our creatures before. We'll just have to see if we can plop some of those ram horns into Bear's genetics, and then I guess we'll just see how it goes. We'll have them breed on this turn, and then we'll adjust their mutation menus accordingly, depending on how this baby ends up. Melody no longer has a reason to stay with her family though, so she would slowly sneak away on the outskirts, trying to stay as close to the grass as possible so few creatures will notice her leaving. And Rhapsody is going to need to race to his mate's side so he can at least be by her when she passes. We'll see how close we can get her to those ports. Of course, we can't set up any nests right on top of them, but if we can maybe bring her down to the shore, then she can build her very final nest right by the ocean. So we can cross our fingers that we might see yet another water-bodied baby. I'm sure Rhapsody would love to have a big brood to teach all of his songs. He came from a close-knit family though, so he probably finds it very peculiar that his daughter has mysteriously vanished. He's not used to family members just drifting apart overnight. He even spent his entire childhood in the presence of his big brother, who taught him everything that he knows about swimming. But Hornet, you better find a little berry bush to set yourself up by too. We'll have him clear out some pathways so it'll be easier for him to get to the one that Rhapsody found before. It's not much, but it's better than nothing, because our food supplies are going to start to dwindle if we're not careful. Let's get ready to pass the turn though, as we see what Wasp's very final baby is going to look like. Oh my gosh, somebody with the omen again. The strange omen that means more smoke in their skies. I feel like we have to name him with that in mind. Maybe something like Ash would be particularly fitting, especially with his mother just passing away too. He's rising from her ashes in a way. But it looks like we also unlocked a new gene in our mutation menu, so I wonder if that means... Oh my goodness! Look at this baby! Oh my gosh, the platypus beak is back! And we also have the bear hyena ears on him too. Oh, those actually hear pretty well. I think that's better than, oh no, it's the same as our medium ears, okay. I thought you might have better hearing than your mother and father, but I guess that's not the case. Still though, oh my gosh, that is so cool. They're just pointier than we're used to. It is so unfortunate that he's not going to be able to use that platypus beak, because I don't think there is anywhere on this island where he could actually dig up worms from the ocean floor. It's all just that giant abyss that unnerves our tribe so deeply. Oh my gosh, and the fires are getting even worse out here. But for a child between our bear and our bee, I think a good name for him might be Honeycomb. And for such an incredibly strange mix of genetics, I'm sure he's going to find a very unique role to play on this island. We might have them breed again, but Bee is going to wait to have her next baby until we have a little bit more food. And this is exactly why we want our creatures to breed now. Though I think he might actually have the lean body. Oh, that's not such a bad thing. If we could breed that into the tribe before we even have it in our mutation menu, that might actually work to our favor. We still have so much longer to go before it unlocks for us here, so we might have to consider introducing him to one of our females in the future. But it's not going to be Bee, of course. Bear is going to keep her very, very well protected. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, and we have a fire by the nursery now? Oh, this is not good. As soon as your new babies are born too. Now Melody's presence is only going to be seen as the bringer of smoke and flames. Just as she introduces herself to this family, just as she sneaks around the outskirts of the grass, now we have a fire looming down upon them too. Well, I think all we're going to be able to do is just pick up as many berries as we can and then run away as soon as possible. We'll have to have Kirkir move out of the way so his mother can jump in and grab the rest, because unfortunately poor little Dusty only has 1 gem's worth of energy. He is definitely not suited to savanna life either. Yeah, we're gonna have to make sure that our slower creatures can get out of the way in time. I guess that's why Moonstone was so eager to have them move. We'll bring her into the darkness to scout ahead for the rest of the tribe. And then of course Dukkirvan is not going to be far behind. Not after seeing the fires for himself. And that leaves Melody only to dive deeper into that grass to escape. She doesn't like to think that she's bad luck, but with so many unfortunate events happening around her, she can't help but wonder if maybe Hornet's words were true. Jasmine should at least get the chance to meet her new little baby though, who looks as if he might have an unfortunate case of the chicken pox. Either that or maybe he has some sunburn. The poor little guy looks like he is very, very uncomfortable either way, which is quite fitting for their current situation. But I think we'll name this little one Heatwave, perhaps as a way to remember the very frightening time in which he was born. It's going to be very hard to keep all of these little babies away from the fire, especially if it starts to spread this quickly, but we can only try our best here. But Hornet seems to have made a new friend. Alright, I guess he's chatting it up with our rogue male wanderer. Maybe he wants to know if he knows anything special about the area, since he's lived here for much longer, or if he potentially wants to join their ranks too, because he knows how useful that lean body would be. I wonder if Scarab would be a little bit less trusting though. He's a little bit worried about what this might mean for their mothers, because he and Bear were always very, very protective of their nurseries. Taking a tiny little baby under their wing was one thing, but I don't think he would be so willing to accept a rogue male just wandering through their territory. He is literally booking it straight over to Jasmine. I wonder if maybe he caught her scent, or even Moonstone. Well, Dukkirvan, we might have to have you start your families sooner than you thought. I know we have a fire right on your tail, so it's not the best time to welcome a new little baby into the world. Oh my gosh. Wait a second, maybe it is. Oh, the rainfall. I didn't think we would see any rain on this island at all. Oh, that is perfect. Unfortunately, poor little Melody has nothing to do with it, because she just ran away. So these creatures wouldn't think that her presence had any part to play. Instead, they must feel like the god of the harvest has taken pity upon their poor souls, and cooled down the earth just enough to give them a wonderful harvest to collect. So Valentine, go ahead and scoop up all of those berries. And then Ananame, of course, you are definitely going to want to do the same. Maybe Dusty would be the one to scoot around this side and see if he can investigate where this fire used to be. Not sure if we can do anything to interact with that pile of ash, but at least with the flames gone, we know that that won't be an issue. And his mother should be able to rest easy knowing that he's out exploring. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is the perfect sign, Moonstone. The perfect sign that it's time to start your family. Your ancestors certainly approve either way. So we'll place the normal body into Dukkirvan's mutation menu. We might do the same with Moonstone too, if they end up inheriting the big body instead, since she does have it in her inactive traits. But otherwise, I would like to start a new tradition in Moonstone's family, where we try to breed in a different eye color if we can. Dukkirvan does have the blue eyes in his genetics, so maybe if we're super lucky, one of their babies will be able to inherit that gene. So the Gravediggers will be known for their colorful eyes and their gemstone names. We'll have him go ahead and breed with her. That way we can set her up in one of those nests as the rogue male wanders deeper into the grass. This, of course, would be Melody's cue to continue on as well. I think Sunspot is going to stay behind to pick the berries, but that gives her a good opportunity to launch herself into this clearing too. All her life, she's felt compelled to run toward those distant plumes of smoke. And now that they've been smothered by the rain, she doesn't know what's going to be waiting for her on the other side anymore. but she knows it's a mission that she needs to see to its end. And likewise, Dukkirvan must finally feel like the gods are taking pity upon him too. He didn't do much to smother the fires himself, but maybe it was just that act of bravery that was enough to put him in their favor. Or at least he hopes so, because the last thing he wants to do is go back to a home that doesn't want him around. So it seems fitting that these two would run into each other now. They both feel like outcasts in their own homes, especially for creatures who were supposed to be so revered, of course. Dukkirvan for his strength, and Melody for her connection to the beacons, twisted though that prophecy has become. So in the next episode, we'll have to see if our tribe can use this rainfall to their advantage. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!